Hello, and welcome to this HelloID Service Automation product release video for May 2023. HelloID Service Automation is a user management self-service solution designed to delegate user management into the organization. For example, delegate group management, delegate distribution group management, delegate share management. It will help ICT departments to prevent accumulation of licenses and access rights. Please note that in this video, we will only show the new functionalities for the May 2023 release. Please go to docs.helloid.com or our YouTube channel for more videos. Let's get started. In this video, we'd like to start with a PowerPoint presentation and then demo the new functionalities for the May 2023 release. We have 3 new features in this release. The first new feature is Extend HelloID resources with configurable metadata using API calls. With this new feature, you will be able to manage additional information to HelloID resources, such as a version number. The supported HelloID resources are scoped to products, delegated forms, dynamic forms, and data sources. Our second new feature is a new form element called Multiselect Grid. Although it is a complete new form element, it supports the same functionality features as the current Select Grid form element, such as data sources, conditional visibility, and default selection, with the exception that we can select more rows in the grid. Our third and final new feature is Support Service Automation Agent for product action executions. This feature is currently in beta, which means it's not available as a standard in production, but it is requestable via your support department. Please be aware that beta features are there purely to get feedback from users and should not be used in production environments. With this new feature, you will be able to configure custom PowerShell actions that will be handled by the Service Automation Agent. This comes with all sorts of new features, such as native PowerShell support, audit log messages, and Cloud Agent support. Please check our roadmap to see when we will fully release this new feature. Let's demonstrate these new features. We have logged into the admin portal. Now we can go to Self-Service and to Products. Here we already prepared a product for this demo with the name Release Demo 2023-05. Let's take a closer look at this product. We have already configured the product's form with a single select grid and a default multi-select, which was already available in the previous version. And lastly, the multi-select grid, which is the new element. If we take a closer look at the single select grid and the multi-select grid through the options, we can see here that both have the same options and also the same data source specified, so the native HelloID user. If we go to the multi-select grid, we see the same data source, the native HelloID user, and it has the same options with the exception of the key and the label. Now let's see how this multi-select grid works. Let's switch to the editor. And here you can see that with the single select, we can click on just one of the options, and the selected option will be deselected when a new option is clicked on. In the multi-select grid, we can select multiple options. We can also use the control button to quickly select multiple options, and for big selections, you can use the Shift key or select a large group of options at once. In this case, we added 5 options with just 2 clicks. There's also a difference in the result, and we will show that by selecting 2 options. If we go to the next page, we see that the single select shows only one value. The multi-select value shows 2 values, and the multi-select grid shows 5 values. When we do the request here, we can see the form output result and how it works. Here we have a single select version, and you can see it is just a single object with all the properties of that object. If we go to multi-select, it's an array with 2 text variables. It can only be a text variable for multi-select. So we have an array with option 0 and the option 1. The multi-select grid is a little different because here you can see it's 0 and that it contains a whole object, and it has the same properties in this case as the single select grid. So all the properties from the grid are shown, but now it's in an array. So that's important to know. With this, you can just simply use a multi-select grid or replace a single select grid with a multi-select grid. And then you just have to adjust your code by using an array as an input instead of a single object. Our second new feature, the beta feature. If this is enabled, you should see a new tab here, Actions New. Another way to see this new feature is by going to the Actions tab. This should be available for everyone, and you won't have this message. If you don't have this message but really want to see the new beta functionality, you can request it, but please keep in mind that we don't recommend using this in a production environment because this is still in beta. It has limited functionality, but we would still like to get feedback from our partners and, of course, you as a customer. Let's focus on the Actions tab because that's what's newly available in this beta release for this feature. And here you can see all the states for which you can create actions, such as requests or product approvals. Let's navigate to Approved, and as you can see, we have already added an action. We can add multiple actions if we want to. Let's take a look by clicking on Edit. As you can see here, instead of going to a mapping face and showing two created PowerShell tasks separately, we go directly into the PowerShell screen and have PowerShell available. PowerShell here is a little bit different from the previous actions because it is all native here. So if you want to have a warning or information, you can do it just by writing warning or information. Sending an audit log message is write information with the tag audit. And if you want to send an email or a notification, you can do write information tags email. So it's pretty easy to use this. The product information as well as the form information, if the product has a form, will be available in here as an object for PowerShell. So you don't need to map all the fields that you want to put into your script. It's a lot easier and similar to the delegated form section, but running on a new infrastructure. The biggest difference is that we can now determine if we want to run it in the cloud, thus needing an agent, or if we want to run it on-premise, and then we can select an agent here. Of course, in this case, we want to run it in the cloud because it's new, and what we can do here if we just want to execute, so we don't need an agent for this because we are testing it out in this case. It's really nice if you have cloud systems, and as you can see here, we have now received an audit log, which is this record. So you can test it out and see the logging appearing, the warning that we're given here, and the notification from the script is also available here. This makes it a great way to quickly develop actions with the use of PowerShell without needing all the complex mapping and doing all the mapping steps with a lot of click work. And of course, don't forget that it will run in the cloud, which is the most important functionality, of course, because we cannot do this with the old actions. As we said, this is still in beta, so it's not fully published yet. And if you want to see the final release date, you can see it in the roadmap, so please keep an eye on it. Thank you so much for watching. Please let us know if you have any questions. You can post your question on YouTube or send it to isupport@toolsforever.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to receive frequent updates about improvements and changes in HelloID. Have a wonderful day.